welcome to the Virtual Groom Room. My name is Jack, your host, and today we're going to be exploring a few kind of pomades I've been using recently and explore what you think. I think it's important kind of when I caveat this video as to what pomades I've used before and kind of talk you over my pomade journey thus far. I've always had a fairly similar style to the one I have now. However, I've gone through several different changes in terms of pomade I've decided to use. My first main pomade was a Layrite Original. Like any gel-based pomade, I felt as if it was, the hardening just doesn't appeal to me. With any gel-based pomade I've ever used, the hardening just makes it slightly, it makes it lack a level of restylability, if that's even a word, and that's not great for me, because if you live in a wet climate, or you live in a very hot climate like I do now, you need to restyle your hair quite frequently. So moved on from Layrite, decided to look like further beyond that, and I was in between kind of picking, and I walked past the Tony & Guy. If you don't know, Tony & Guy are a huge chain kind of manufacturer and kind of hair salon almost, and they tend to do like their own line of hair products. So I decided to buy some of that pomade. It was expensive, it wasn't very good. I wouldn't say it was a gel pomade, it was more of a, it was a bit of a wax, to be honest. That's really all I could really say it was. It wasn't great, so I decided to move on again. So I decided to move on to, there's a YouTuber called Alpha M. You may have heard of him. He is a kind of male grooming and fashion YouTuber who released his own line of hair products called Pete and Pedro. I've used his paste, pomade, and putty, where I thought all the products performed pretty well. In terms of value for money, I think there's a lot better out there in terms of the homebrewers market for pomade. For example, the pomade and paste, they give you a 2-ounce kind of tin or jar, it's a plastic container, for $19. And frankly, I don't think that's good enough. So I decided to move on again, go back to gel-based pomades and see what Suavecito is about. You know, I've not come from a US background. I come from the UK, and Suavecito is not particularly known in the UK, so I decided to pick some up. I used the original. The original was okay. I felt, again, I actually kind of like the scent. A lot of the people that are into pomade tend to dislike the scent. It's this somewhat masculine, cheap cologne scent. I don't mind it, it's fine. Premium, however, wasn't very premium. I didn't like the scent. It was like this lavender. I don't really like the scent of lavender, and you'll find in my kind of preceding shaving videos that I don't really use lavender-based products. From there, I'm going to go into the review of the two products that I've found that work for me. So, the first one is by Arcadian Grooming, and it's called Arcadian Styling Pomade. So this is their original formula. I really like it. I've found it fairly recently. In terms of cost, this was $14.95, and I'll put that up on the screen so you can see that, with $5 shipping. I would also like to say that it arrived very, very quickly. If you're interested in this product, use a code that I used to get it. It's the Pomp. You can use that because there's a YouTube channel called the Pomp who reviews lots of pomades. He's pretty big with all these home brewers, and you can get discounts that way. Packaging, I really enjoy the packaging. It's very clean. It's a matte black finish on the label, which is really nice. It's not a textured matte black. It's so matte. That's really all I could say. I like the Arcadian logo. It's very stylish, as you can see. And an amber glass jar. There's no plastic here. I dislike plastic. Plastic is cheap. I understand why shaving soap makers would use plastic, is you need a high volume of it to create, to hold maybe a 4-ounce thing and be able to get a brush in to get a load. But with this specifically, I think glass is appreciated. Let's open it up. Nice kind of a soft metal tin top here. Now, the only downside to this stuff for me is the scent. I'd say the scent's not too great. I'd say it's very medicinal. Almost like aloe vera, to be honest with you. It's not an overpowering scent, so it will go away. However, you will notice it throughout the day, occasionally, depending on the heat of the weather. I find if it gets hot, it tends to wear out and not be quite as, I'm not going to say smelly because that's negative. The scent isn't as strong, basically. Pliability. Now, this is the most pliable pomade I have ever used. And I'm not exaggerating in the sense that it's just a gel-based pomade. It's not. Look at this. So I'm going to hold the pomade up. I'm going to scoop and I'm going to show you. Look at that. It's like a paste pomade. And the thing I really appreciate about this, I'm going to get off my hands here. The thing I really appreciate about this is the fact that when you're using it and you're kind of agitating it between your hands, it's really easy to apply to your hair, and sometimes that's really, really useful. For example, I wouldn't do it with wet hands or anything like that. Perfectly fine with dry hands. It's definitely usable with dry hands, that's for sure. Agitate it between your hair, work it from down into the roots upwards, work perfectly fine. Hold. I would say the hold is a light to medium hold. The hold won't ever really... I don't think you'll have issue unless you have a crazy hairstyle and very, very thick hair. I have pretty thick hair, and as you can see, my hairstyle is modest. It's not crazy. It holds it fine. It will withstand hot weather for the most part, but you may have to restyle it once or twice throughout the day. Once, I've only ever had to really do it once, so not twice. The shine, I'd say it's a medium shine. I'm not wearing it in my hair now. I'm wearing the a different thing, but I might go to that later. It's got a medium shine, not bad by any means. Wash out. You can wash this out with hot water only. However, if you're really picky, I would suggest you use shampoo as well. You could do that over the sink. Okay, so the next product is Shear Revival Crystal Lake. A lot of wet shavers will recognize Shear Revival as they do make a shaving soap, and I think Kevy Shaves has used it before on one of his videos, if I recall. So, by the way, if you're watching, hello Kevy. What would I say about Crystal Lake? So the cost and shipping, and I will put all of these things on the screen like I will for Arcadian too. 17 bucks with... See, I ordered it with a different product as well, and that different product I also have in my hair. It's the Northern Lights stuff, but they charged me $9 for shipping, so I'm going to be fair and I'm just going to say $5 at the same time. So 17 bucks, $5 shipping, not too bad at all. The packaging is kind of similar in terms of, well, I mean, it's not, but the jar is very similar. Amber glass jar again, I like that. The logo is very nice. Again, this camera just isn't a fan of focusing when I want it to. Come on, you. Oh, almost did it. Okay, it's being a bit of an imbecile. I'll explain it to you. So there's a tree. The Crystal Lake is a reference to something. I completely forgot what it's a reference to. If you know, put it in the comments. It is a water-based pomade like Arcadian, which is great. It makes it easy to wash out. Really nice textured label here. I do like that. Grape again, glass tin. Let's go into the scent, shall we? So the scent is, I love the scent on this. The scent is, how can I describe it? I would call it lemon shortcake meets cocoa butter. Originally, when you smell it, it's sweet, it's lemony, but when you put it onto your hair, it settles to this nice coconutty kind of cocoa butter smell. Very, very pleasurable. I do like the scent. Pliability. I'll show me scooping it out. So it's a bit harder to scoop out than Arcadian. Arcadian is the easiest I've ever seen. As you can see, the texture there, it's quite hard. However, it is very easy to use once you've kind of agitated it into your hands. Once you have agitated it into your hands, I suggest getting some heat into it by rubbing them together. Imagine it's a very cold day and you're trying to warm up your hands, and you'll be able to use Crystal Lake very, very easily. So pliability, warmth into your hands, start from the kind of roots upwards and you'll be perfectly fine. Hold, I would say this is a light to medium hold product. Like Arcadian, because it's water based, it may require restyling in very hot weather depending on the hairstyle you have, but as I said, I don't really think that's an issue either. Again, just if you have to, carry around a comb with you. If you're at home, just wait a while, come back, have a look. If it's okay, you don't need to bother. That's generally how I do it anyway. Shine, this is a medium shine product, just like Arcadian. There really isn't much difference in terms of shine, and I do like that. Washing it out, Now this tends to be a bit more finicky than Arcadian. I'd say Arcadian, you can, if you're not picky, you can wash it out just with water, and I think most of it will fade overnight. With this, you should use shampoo and hot water. I've tried it with poor results with just water, and I've had to use shampoo. So I would suggest washing that out with water, with shampoo as well. So what do I prefer? Well, that's a difficult question for me. I like aspects of either of them more. Get them in the right position here. I like the performance of Arcadian more. I think Arcadian is easier to work into your hair. It's easier to wash out. It's more pliable. Everything is on the plus for this apart from the scent, and I think the scent really puts it off. I've spoken to Arcadian, seen if they do a custom scent for me, and they refused. So either I'm gonna have to suck it up, get used to smelling like a pine tree, or move on, I guess. I really do like it. The scent's not great, but it is what it is. If I manage to get a Arcadian pomade with this scent, it would be my go-to. I wouldn't change. I love this scent. I do like the performance, however, I don't think it's as good as Arcadian, and yeah, I suggest trying them both. I believe this is also available on the pump, so I would try this. I'll put the link. As they're both available on the pump, you may as well try them both, seeing which one you prefer. Yeah, so that's the pomade review. I like both of them. I like aspects of them both. It's up to you to decide what you'd prefer to use. In terms of a shaving video, I do have one planned for the next couple of days with a very exciting soap. I've been speaking with Kevin Doherty from K Shave Works out of New York about a scent that was previously released that they don't do anymore, and I've managed to get my hands on some of it, so I'm looking forward to making a video from you guys. Apart from that, it's been your host Jack with the Virtual Groom Room. I wish you a lovely weekend and a good rest of your evening. Goodbye.